I've seen brides make out with random people on a wedding. I guess, when you're working with Shah Rukh, no, you start flying. Kiara was very clear when she met me, saying that she wants to use Ranja. Moments that stood out for me, for example, is Deepika Padukone. She's walking to a mandap.
Nothing is ever lost to us as long as we remember it. That's what he said. We have with us Vishal Punjabi. Welcome to NDTV.
Thank you for having me here.
I hope we are making this frame look good because in front of you, I don't think we are doing justice.
Aye.
Beautiful weddings that you see on YouTube going viral. Doesn't matter is a celebrity wedding or not. They just look beautiful. Let's get to the point. I've heard that people have given up on muhurats, okay? They don't follow muhurat, but they surely follow the sunset as the muhurat time because the fairas have to be that time because of the lighting. Am I right?
Most girls and boys visualize their weddings at a young age in India. So I guess they've seen it, they've wanted that sunset wedding, they've wanted that magic car light, and that's where the dream comes from. So we try and achieve it and we try and make it happen for them.
You were working with Shah Rukh Khan and then you decided, let me do this. What made you do this?
I guess, when you're working with Shah Rukh, no, you start flying really high. You think doors open for you. He's also a seriously talented actor, so it's very easy directing him. Filmmaking is given to you on a platter. You get the best sets, you get the best cameramen, you get the best budgets to work with, the best clothes. The best actresses would want to work with him. Nobody says no to that. But then in 2008, I left Shah Rukh's company for 2 years and I took a sabbatical and went to Ghana. And I wanted to make films, but there was no film industry. And I wanted to rent a camera, but there were no big cameras. They only had tiny cameras. So I picked up that and the love for small cinema came from there. There was a movie I saw, 3 Idiots, so Rajkumari Rani had done. I think Madhavan had picked up a camera and that woman wanted to be a photographer. And his father said something like, "Bada hoke kya shadi ka video shoot karega? Ya shadi ka photo shoot karega?" And now it's changed. Now my own family are proud of me because of what I do.
Even another thing that is very unique about your wedding videos is the music. Because you'll create your own music. The song in Sidharth and Kiara's wedding, it made headlines, it went viral, everybody was making reels out of it. Did you expect something like that?
Kiara was very clear when she met me, saying that she wants to use Ranja. It's also a sad, gut-wrenching song, if I remember correctly then. So I sat and I heard it now properly in context to her film. And the only thing that stood out to me, it was about death and separation and sadness, and it was heart-wrenching. It was a beautiful song and a haunting melody, but it was a sad song. And I was very sure that I wouldn't be able to create something of substance using that song as it was. And she was very clear that she wanted that song because it meant something to her, which I understood. So I think I came up with the best solution of rewriting the song, and so that she's happy with the melody and the same feeling she'd get. And I'd be happy with the fact that it's of meaning to what she's doing and it's not random. And she agreed. And luckily, Karan Johar was at the wedding, and the folk at Sony Music were really nice to us, and they gave us the rights to the original Ranja. And we were lucky enough for it to all come together. And when she saw it, and when everyone saw it, they were really happy.
Tell me one of the craziest things that has happened at a celebrity wedding.
The truth is, most of these celebrity weddings, and all of them are NDA-based weddings.
That is the craziest thing that happens.
That's the craziest thing that happens.
What? Okay, tell me, what does this NDA say?
It says you can't talk about the crazy things that happen at the wedding, ever. They'd go down at the grave with it. I think the harder bit with a celebrity wedding is when I make a wedding film for a bride and groom, like a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer. For them, a wedding film is a creative speciality that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them to be recorded and documented on a film by a professional. An actor, in Bollywood at least, who's doing this, does this for a living. They get ready for a living, they wear outfits for a living.
They're getting married 10 times.
They've probably gotten married in 20 films and they've died 5 times and all of the things have happened to them. So for me to be able to create a piece of work, which is their memory, and make them feel as special as you or I would if we were getting married, that is the hard part in shooting a celebrity wedding. And I think that comes from filmmaking talent, that comes from brevity of expression, that comes from understanding of music and dialogue and sound and picture, and experience more than anything else. How do you deal with these people and talk to them and make them comfortable and make them open up to you, which doesn't make it sound like a PR interview for the promotion of a movie.
I've noticed in your interviews is the bride and the groom, when you're interviewing them, they are in the purest form. They are humans. The Deepika Padukone I see is the Deepika. She's not the Deepika Padukone. They have no makeup, they're in their pajamas. You know, it is so nice to see that real person coming out. So is that your idea and how did you go about it?
I like that contrast of seeing them without makeup, and then when you see them getting married, then you see them as a bride. There's a contrast in how they feel and how they look, and I think it's important to capture that. Keeping them real was always the prerogative, and showing a contrast between the two of them is always beneficial for the film. So yes, it is intentional.
Weddings in general have so much drama, okay? I know how in-laws are not getting along, you know, there's this tension between the bride and the groom because your mom said something, and you know, there's so much stress. While everything looks beautiful in that 5 minutes that you shoot, but tell me what really happens and what have you seen?
Oh, so many things. I've seen brides make out with random people on a wedding.
Ouch!
I've seen, so once a Fokker or diamond set got stolen from a wedding mandap. Then the cops got involved, and then they came to our hotel in the middle of the night, and we had to go through all the footage and find who's. In the end, we found out a 7-year-old kid had come in from outside and stolen.
This, you know, you can make a full film out of this, right?
Can you imagine after doing 500 weddings? Can you imagine the amount of drama we have seen? I've had a groom change in the middle of the wedding. So we started the film, and there was a
what?
There was a
groom
different
change in different clothes, or the groom changed?
The groom changed.
Oh my God, I cannot.
But for the better, I mean, the bride was happier, so it all worked out.
Oh my God,
better.
this is a movie happening here.
I spoke to the groom, we did the roka happened, we shot it, and I came back to Bombay, and then I went to shoot the wedding, and then the groom had changed. The true story is, she was in love with the first group, with the groom she was getting married to, but then there was issues with religion and caste, and then she agreed to marry this guy because of
pressure, family pressure.
And then she was going ahead, but then this guy wasn't really good, so he showed his true colors. And then eventually, right before the wedding, then the father said, "Ja beti, ji le apni zindagi." And the groom was changed and everybody was happy ever after.
You know that you can make a movie,
Oh
right?
yes, oh yes. And that is in the pipeline too.
See?
Based on all the things we have learned over the past 14 years.
You have heard this on NDTV, okay?
There was one wedding I shot 4 years ago, and I did this pro bono. I did it for free. The bride wrote to me and she was terminally ill.
Oh.
And it was her dream to get shot by the wedding film. And she was diagnosed after the boy proposed to her. And when I found that story out and I spoke to her, and I saw how much this boy loved her, and he was not, and she didn't, they wanted to stop the wedding and not get married and deal with what was going on. But he insisted on marrying her and she insisted on marrying him. And I was like, a story like that and a documentation like that has to be captured.
Absolutely.
But you see all kinds, the humanity at its best at weddings I usually get to see.
But tell me, Vishal, has it ever happened that you have made such beautiful videos of couples and then in few years you get to know about they're not together anymore?
Mine was like that. So I shot my own wedding video back in 2010, and then 5 years later, we weren't together, me and my ex-wife. But then you move on and you figure it out and you learn from those things, and then you see how you can apply the lessons you have learned into the work you do to try and make it even better and even cooler.
You know, there are such special moments that you have captured at different weddings, especially let's talk about the celebrity wedding. There are times when these visuals go viral, but do you direct them or do you just were there coincidentally and captured them? How does this work?
So we're at the right place at the right time. You have to do things right. And there's some moments that are irreplaceable. Like moments that stood out for me, for example, is Deepika Padukone. She's walking to a mandap. And it just comes through a fleeting moment in the film. And I'm following her from behind. And you have a line of people standing in front. Or you have Ranveer Singh crying. You have that tree that is there. And she looks up at that moment and she looks down. It's almost like she's like counting her blessings in that moment. And it's small moments. So it's like we're waiting for her. She goes down to do her Mata Teko and then she comes up. And the focus is bang on. But it's more than the focus and the shot and the aesthetic of it. It's the expression that she has on her face. Or right at the end of the film when we're going around her and she opens her eyes just when the camera. And there's a small things. And I believe we're very fortunate and very lucky when these things happen in front of us. And magic happens when you do things because you're meant to do them. You're meant to be there. You found your calling.
Thank you so much for talking to us. I had so much fun. I can't get over that story that bride was making out with somebody else. I can't get over it. Guys.
Things happen.